You have probably heard by now how Roth IRAs are one of the most powerful investing accounts out there, but what are some of the mistakes that you absolutely must avoid and the ones that can cost you tens of thousands of dollars? So let's go ahead and break it down. Now, I've already done a video on where to open a Roth IRA and what are some of the greatest benefits of a Roth IRA. But today, I want to help save you some money because I see people running these mistakes and I don't want you to lose thousands of dollars, okay? I want you to make and retain as much as you possibly can. So, I've got a list here. Let's go ahead and break it down. Now, the first one is not updating your beneficiaries. Your beneficiaries are the people who will receive whatever is left in the account upon your passing. No, it is not the greatest, most fun thing to think about, but if you are someone who cares and believes in generational wealth, you might want to make sure that this is updated. The reason why I say this and the reason why when I do live talks, whether I'm at Google or Facebook or doing something virtual or in person on stage, I talk so much about beneficiaries because when I was an advisor, I ran into several situations where someone had 3 kids and only 2 kids were on their beneficiary list. They, not me, not the government, not the account, not the, whatever stocks they held. Only those 2 people could decide what they wanted to do with that 3rd sibling. And that in this case, they were born like 5 years after, and there was a big gap. The person didn't update their beneficiaries, and there's nothing that your advisor or Fidelity or Public or anybody else can do about that. You have to be the one to set up those beneficiaries and make sure it's updated. I've had a situation where it went to the ex-wife and not the current wife. Whew, that was a difficult time. But again, I can only do what the instructions tell me to do and whoever he or she leaves on that beneficiary list. To update the beneficiaries, in most cases, you just go under your options or your settings if you're on an app, or you can just call your brokerage and they will send you a form or tell you exactly where that link is on your account. It is free to do. All you need is their name and their birthday. If you have the social, that works. If you have their phone number and their address, that works too. I have a standing calendar invite just to go back and just double check all of my stuff. And you should do this anytime that there is someone that is born in your family, someone who passes in your family, if you get remarried, if someone in your beneficiary list gets married or remarried or something of that nature, just go back and check it on a regular basis, okay? I recently found one. Y'all know my daughter, she's small, but I checked all my accounts and it was one, I think it was like last year, one that didn't have her on it. I'm like, oh, let me just go back and update this. I'm glad I had this reminder, okay? So make sure that those beneficiaries are updated on a regular basis. The next one is withdrawing from your Roth IRA. Now, you can withdraw your contributions to a Roth IRA at any point whenever you choose. That's one of the good benefits of it, but just because you can doesn't mean you should, okay? So for example, I put in $1,000 inside my Roth IRA, it grows and it does great things, but I can say, look, I need some of this money, I'll take out my $1,000 and go spend it now. You can do that without penalty. Doesn't mean you should, because what you are still doing is reducing your investments. You're reducing your portfolio that could have grown to even greater values down the line. And some people think, well, I can just take it out, so I just should. This is the exact same thing as a savings account. Like, yeah, I can take money out of my savings account and spend it right now with no penalties, but it doesn't mean I should. I might need that for an emergency down the line. You might need that $1,000 or whatever it is inside your Roth IRA to continue growing for the future, regardless of your ability to take out of it just because you can. I see a lot of people who feel that they have to withdraw from their investing accounts to pay off credit card debt or something of that nature. I'm not a big fan of that. I've done a video about that as well. But just because you can take out without penalty doesn't mean you should. That can hurt you and cost you tens of thousands of dollars down the line. The next one is putting money inside your Roth IRA and not investing it. This is something I've talked about before. I've had another sad scenario as a financial advisor where someone brought me their account and said, look, here's my statement. But investing, I got $200,000 here, but it hasn't grown. It hasn't grown for 20 years. I look at it and say, hey, you never picked an index fund. You never picked a stock to invest in. You're just putting money into the account. It's like putting food into an oven and not turning it on. Okay, you have to choose what it is that you want your money to buy. What asset do you want to buy within that account to allow it to grow? And hopefully, I'll say hopefully grow, because you can buy an investment that does not grow at all. But you have to choose something. You have to make sure that you click the buy button with that money and do that on a regular basis as well. Not doing it, you're just putting money into a fancy account and doing nothing for you. You might not lose money, but you certainly are not going to make money by doing that. The next one here is having only a Roth IRA. Okay, so yes, having a Roth IRA is one of the best accounts you can have. It gives you a lot of flexibility and can really help you to create financial freedom. If it is the only investing account you have, I don't think that is the best idea. What you want to have, and we've talked about this years ago on the channel, perhaps I should do an updated video, is about tax diversification. So what does that mean? Okay, that's a pretty large word. It's not something that most people come across all the time. But when you talk about Roth IRA, that is an after-tax account, meaning you've already paid taxes. So when you are ready to withdraw at 59.5, you don't have to pay no taxes because you've already paid them. Okay, so we call that an after-tax account. That's only one type of taxation, only one type of account. The other types are pre-tax. This is things like your 401k, a traditional IRA where you do not pay taxes now, but you will pay taxes after. Okay, so that's two. And then you have a current taxable account that is something like your Robinhood account today, an account where if you make money in this year, you're going to pay taxes in that year. Why should you have those three things? This is going to allow you to adjust your portfolio and your lifestyle based on where you live and what tax rates are in the place that you live. Right now, I'm in North Carolina. We have a state income tax. What if I move to Florida? Well, if that's the case, where they don't have an income tax, or move to Texas, where they don't have a state income tax, well, perhaps I'm going to rearrange and pull money from my accounts at a different period in time. For example, if I wanted to be someone who retires early and say, look, at age 40 or age 35, I just want to retire and just live off my investments. Well, I don't want to pull from my 401k because I'm not 59.5. That's going to hurt if I start pulling from there. I don't want to pull from my Roth IRA because I want that to grow for as long as I can so I can live off that money for tax-free purposes. Well, that leaves only one option. I'm going to have to use my taxable account to live off this now and then move to the other accounts as I get closer to 59.5. But if I don't have that account, I don't have the option. Okay, I would encourage you to go and search on the channel for the tax diversification video to really break all that stuff down and how you withdraw from those accounts. It is a little more advanced, but not, master's level complex. You need a degree, but I show you on a whiteboard how that stuff works, and it is important to know, but you need to have what we call tax diversification. And now you know what that is. The next mistake that you need to be careful of is what is called a backdoor conversion or backdoor Roth. Now, having a backdoor Roth is not a mistake, but doing it on your own absolutely could be. So what is a backdoor conversion? Why do people talk about it? There is an income limit on Roth IRAs. Once you make a certain amount, and I think it's for married couples, it's well over $200,000. For someone who's an individual, I think it's somewhere in the above $160,000 range for an individual. Check up on your tax rates at the time you watch this video because they are different depending on what year it is. Okay, so go and verify that with the IRS or with your brokerage. But once you hit that, you cannot contribute to a Roth IRA. But there is something called a backdoor conversion where I can take a traditional IRA and convert it into a Roth and get those benefits. Now, all of that sounds great, except that if you're not doing this with an accountant or a certified financial planner, you can make a mistake that can cost you. That is because if you do this conversion incorrectly, you can push yourself into a higher tax bracket. That won't be great. And you are almost always going to run into a tax bill when you do that conversion. That is because you go from an account, traditional IRA that has not been taxed at all this entire time and has grown, and moving to something that should have been taxed already. So you're going to have a tax bill. But how are you going to pay the tax bill? Are you going to withdraw it from the money you just converted? If you do that, that's going to reduce your overall portfolio, which again, if I had to pay a $10,000 tax bill now, how much money could I have made if that $10,000 stayed invested? So that's one cost. But also, you probably should just pull that from a savings account or some cash that you have laying on the side. But if you're not prepared for that, you don't know how much the tax bill is going to be, that's going to hurt you. Okay, so anytime that you see someone talking about a backdoor Roth or a backdoor conversion or something like that, please consult a professional. Okay, someone who does this all the time. So talk to an accountant, talk to a certified financial planner before you consider doing it. And I would highly advise that you have someone like that walk you through that entire process so that you don't end up costing yourself thousands of dollars. Now, those are all the mistakes that you should plan for or avoid when you're looking for a Roth IRA, but where should you open one if you don't have one already, and what are some of the benefits? I've talked about the negative stuff, but what are the positive things that you should know about a Roth IRA and why you should absolutely have one? That video is for you right here.